your window to the world's history. Share your favorite historical fact or story in the comments and subscribe the channel. While air travel is something that we tend to take for granted these days, flying by plane used to be seen as a luxury and privilege enjoyed only for the richest. This picture shows the airplane in which British aviators John William Alcock and Arthur Whitten Brown made the first non-stop transatlantic flight. They flew a Vickers Vimy Rolls bomber between St. John's in Newfoundland, Canada, and Clifton in County Galway, Ireland, on June 14 and 15, 1919. American aviator and military officer Charles Lindbergh gained celebrity status when he became the first person to fly alone non-stop from New York to Paris in 1927. In his Ryan NYP Spirit of St. Louis plane. This image shows a group of well-dressed women and a man on board a German Fokker passenger plane. During the late 1920s, Fokker was the world's largest aircraft manufacturer, with its 1925 VIA 3M trimotor passenger aircraft, designed by Reinhold Platz, used by 54 airline companies worldwide. Pictured here is the interior of a de Havilland Hercules trimotor airliner as it left Perth, Western Australia, on its test flight to Adelaide in May 1929. A shot looking down the 50-foot main aisle of one of the Pan American World Airways flying clipper ships. Named after mid-19th century sailing ships, these aircrafts were designed just before the outbreak of World War II, when very few cities had long runways. This photo shows a Martin M130 China Clipper, a commercial four-engine flying boat, flying over San Francisco. It was designed and built in 1935 by the Glenn L. Martin Company for Pan American World Airways in Baltimore, Maryland. This picture shows a lineup of Douglas DC-2 planes of the Trans World Airlines, TWA, a Lindbergh line at a New York airfield during an airshow. Most of these planes were phased out by 1937, as the DC-3 started service, but several DC-2s still operated through the early years of World War II. The Bell X-1, nicknamed Glamorous Glennis, was the first aircraft to exceed the speed of sound in level flight. The Bullet with wings was part of American experimental rocket and non-rocket planes designed for testing new technologies. When the world's first commercial jetliner, British-manufactured de Havilland Comet, took its first flight July 27, 1949, it marked a pivotal step in modern commercial air travel. Seen here at Northolt Airport in West London, commercial airliner the V700 Viscount was first flown in 1948 by Vickers Armstrongs following development of the V630 prototypes. When it made its debut on December 20, 1957, Seattle-based Boeing's sleek 707 aircraft was lauded for its comfort, speed and safety. Pan American Airways became the first commercial carrier to take delivery of the elongated, swept-wing planes, launching daily flights from New York to Paris. Originally made for military use as the Sea Knight, the Boeing Vertol 107 was intended to carry 23 to 25 passengers and designed for water landing capability, without the addition of special flotation gear or boat hull design. Here, we see one of New York Airways passenger helicopters flying over the skyline of the Big Apple. The prototype of the world's first wide-body twin-engined commercial aircraft, the Airbus A300, first flew on October 28, 1972. This image shows French reporter Yves Maroussi and the orchestra of Marc Laferrière taking part in a radio broadcast at an altitude of 19,700 feet on board the first model of the aircraft delivered to Air France, 10 days before its first commercial flight in May 1974.